Hey everyone, today I'm going to be doing a video on what has become my favorite full-size multi-tool, which is the SOG Powerlock you see in front of you. As you can see, I have two of them here, and then I have another one laying around in one of my bags. So I am a big fan of this multi-tool. It has served me extremely well in the years that I've been using these. So hopefully by the end of the video I'll be able to explain to you why that is, show you some of the features, and some of the reasons I like it, and even some of the things that I do not like about it. So both of these tools are pretty much identical with the exception of one of the tools on them, which I'll demonstrate once I open them up, but basically one of them has a pair of scissors, whereas the other one has what SOG calls their V cutter. So I'll go ahead and show you those once I start breaking these open. So I'll go ahead and start showing you what tools are included on this and give you an idea of what you can look forward to. So if we take a look at this closed one, you'll be able to see that none of the tools are actually accessible from the Powerlock in its closed position, so you have to open it up in order to access any of them. I mean, the only thing that's really usable on the outside is the scale, but even then, to really use that to its full potential, you do have to actually open up the tool itself. So the way the tools are stowed in this, you'll notice that both sides of the handle have this kind of cover here, and you can lift that up out of the way, and that will unveil all the tools that are included. Now, I know some people who own these really don't like these covers, but all that holds them on is this little detent on both sides, so it's very easy to remove them if you feel so inclined. Me personally, I like it, and I'll explain why when I talk about the compound leverage system, but it is easy to remove if you feel so inclined, but they will not come off accidentally, or at least I haven't had an issue with that. And I've put these through some pretty hard use, so I'm pretty confident in saying that these are not going to come off unless you intentionally remove them. So we're going to start on this side to show you what tools are included. On this one you have a file, and it does kind of taper towards the end, so that's going to allow you to use it even as a screwdriver if you need to, or even as a little bit of a pry bar. And then next up you have this little can opener, bottle opener, and it also has a little bit of a drive tool at the end of that. Then you have a full-size Phillips head screwdriver, which I really like. As you can see, it's not one of the little narrow ones. I really like having a full-size Phillips head. The ones that are really skinny are kind of a joke. I hate trying to use those as an actual Phillips head screwdriver. Then this next one, you'll see you have a pretty wide flathead screwdriver, and again it does taper towards the end, which is going to allow you to get into tighter slots if you have to. And then you have an awl. This is going to be good if you have to poke a hole in something. It comes to a pretty nice point, so it's going to allow you to puncture through just about anything you're going to need to. This edge, even though it tapers down, isn't really sharpened, so that's not like a blade or anything. And then you have a saw, which I'll roll in a picture of it because it's going to be hard to show you on the camera, but it does taper towards the end, so it's going to be the widest at the teeth, which is going to be making cutting jobs a lot easier. That way you're not having to fight the resistance of the body of the blade as you're cutting through the wood or whatever you're trying to cut through. So I like the way that they designed that a lot. So that's all of them for this side. And then you'll see back here the way the locking mechanism works. If I'll try to stow all these ones away. This is going to keep your tools locked open, and then to release it, you just depress on this end of the lever, and then that'll allow it to swing into position. And then some of the tools I know, like the 1/4" drive that I'll show you on the other side, also lock open in the half open position, which as I'll show you can be very beneficial for that. So on this other side you have a combo edge blade. It's going to be really maybe ground on both sides, but really only on one side. If you've watched any of my other multi-tool videos, you know I don't usually use the blades on my multi-tools a lot, just because part of my EDC is at least one knife, so I never really have to bust open the ones on my multi-tools, but it is there, and you do have a combo edge. I'm not sure if they come with either just a plain edge or a full serrated edge. I just know that this one is a combo edge. And then next up you have another can opener with a another drive end here, which again does taper. So then going on, you have the 1/4 inch drive that I was talking about. This will allow you to use any 1/4 inch socket. It actually works really well, surprisingly. When I heard that this thing had a 1/4 inch drive on it, I honestly didn't have very high hopes. I figured it was going to be kind of gimmicky, but it actually is fairly effective. And then you have scissors. Now these scissors work, but if I can show you my my Leatherman Juice, I can demonstrate that this is not the best pair of scissors in a multi-tool that I have, or if you've seen my Juice review. The little bar that resets it open, because it does spring back open when you use it, it's a pretty small bar. I mean, granted, I haven't had it break on me, but it just seems a little bit more flimsy. Let me grab my Juice so I can show you what that one looks like. So my Leatherman Juice that has a pair of scissors is my everyday carry. This is the original model, which I'm really sad to say was discontinued. But you can see that that bar that resets the handles on the scissors is a lot bigger, a lot beefier, which for this size multi-tool, just to put it right up against it, much smaller, is in my opinion a much better design for scissors. But this specific Powerlock has scissors, and to demonstrate what that V cutter is that replaces the scissors on this one, basically you can use this for cutting line. You can probably use it to cut paracord or really anything, but you just basically, whatever will fit into there. It just has two blades that join together in there, which will cut through anything pretty effectively. I haven't had to use it a lot just because I don't find myself needing to cut through line that often, or if I do, I don't really need something like that because I like to keep my blades pretty sharp. But that is a feature, or at least on this one. But so you do have a pair of scissors here, and then to show you what I was talking about with the 1/4 inch drive locking open halfway, it does have, see if I can show you a little bit better, it does have a little detent halfway, so it will lock in the 90-degree position as well, which is really handy if you are using it to actually put torque on anything. This will allow you to, you can either leave it open and it'll give you a lot more torque than if you're trying to do it straight vertical. And then, as you can see, the handle will close with it in that 90-degree position. So moving on to the actual pliers themselves, which is kind of the bread and butter of multi-tools, you can see it actually comes to a really fine tip up here, pretty much just like needle nose pliers, which come to an even better point than the Leatherman Juice. Just to put it tip to tip here, just the tips, you can see that the Powerlock on the right does come to a much finer tip, and even more so than the Leatherman Squirt. It comes to a much finer tip than the Leatherman Squirt, and for a full-size multi-tool, that's pretty nice. Now, again, you do have a little bit of texturing on the inside, so you can get a really good grip on whatever you have in there. Then you have more of traditional style pliers towards the middle here, so that'll give you another good grip. And then you have what has proven to me to be the best pair of wire cutters that I've come across in a multi-tool, and that's kind of where this compound leverage system comes in handy. Before I talk about that real quick, I'll mention that there's also some wire crimpers back here. But as you can see, when I open and close this, the pliers themselves open and close in accordance with where the handles are in position. And that's because there's actually a gear system in here, and what that does is it gives you twice the gripping force of any similar sized multi-tool, or to put that a different way, it takes half the effort in order to clamp onto something. So I have very easily cut through just about anything that I've put this up against, to include coins or really any piece of metal that I've had to. I know when I was deployed in Africa, anytime we did get a crate or something, it'd have that wire or that metal banding around it, and this cut through it no problem. I actually made a game while we were deployed where my buddy, who had a Leatherman Super Tool, was it Super Tool 300, which is the Leatherman full size. You know, I would pretty much see, okay, what can I cut through, and see if he can cut through it as well, and he didn't really stand a chance. And then that, with the compound leverage system, that's where these little covers come in handy, because if you are exerting a lot of force on these handles to grab onto or cut through whatever you're cutting through, if you were to just have the bare metal on the sides, it would definitely hurt your hand a lot more. I don't know, it's definitely not sharp enough on the inside to actually cut your hand unless you are putting a lot of force down, but this just makes it a lot more comfortable. And to me, it's not really that big of an inconvenience just to open this up to access the tools. And then again, I mentioned you do have this ruler on the outside that measures up to, what is that, right around 9 inches. So that also can tell you roughly about how how long this multi-tool is in total, right around 4.5 inches long, probably a little bit longer. Then you can also see here you do have a little lanyard hole, which I have sewed out of the way, and you can see does flip down with some effort, and will take any lanyard. Now I've used this tool a lot. I mean, I've used SOG Powerlocks for probably close to 3 years now. I got a whole lot of use of this, like I said, while I was deployed in Africa, where it was really high humidity, so really conducive to corrosion. And I mean, this thing is still working great. While I was in Africa, I also bought one of the Gerber, I think it might have even been the Bear Grill series, but basically the Gerber multi-tool that's the same size as the Squirt, and that thing started rusting the same week that I bought it. So just a testament to the corrosion resistance that comes with this coating on the SOG Powerlock. It's really nice. Now the one thing that I don't like about this, or what I feel like could be improved upon, is the sheath. I mean, this isn't a bad sheath by any stretch of the imagination. It has a Velcro enclosure, and I know they recommend putting this in with the gears down. I don't really use the sheath a whole lot when I do carry it. It's either just in a pocket, but this does have a belt clip on there, so you can clip it onto a belt. The design that I like better as far as sheaths go is what Leatherman has, and this is the Leatherman Wave for reference, but I like that they have the MOLLE attachment on the back, just because it definitely makes it a lot more versatile. At least for me, I like being able to put stuff on my MOLLE gear, just because I have a lot of it. Even like my backpack that I take to school has MOLLE covering all over it. So I like the modularity of having the MOLLE. And then you'll notice, because this one isn't open at the bottom like the SOG one is, it has a little drain hole, but on the SOG you don't really need a drain hole just because it is open on the bottom. But I mean, if I were to improve anything, it would be the sheath. But considering the price point on this multi-tool, I mean, that's a good enough sheath in my opinion. I know when I bought this, at least my first one, it was definitely less than the Leatherman Super Tool. I don't want to go too much into prices as far as what they are now, because that's always subject to change, and you know, I don't want to disappoint anyone when these things start going up in price. But I've really liked these multi-tools, and I mean, again, the fact that I've bought 3 of them at this point should be a pretty good indicator of how much I like them. I mean, I've even gotten these as a gift. One of my brothers is a firefighter, so I bought him one of these so he can keep those in his turnouts, just because you know, I feel like this is something he can honestly trust his life to if he has to use a multi-tool. So I mean, if that's not a good recommendation, I don't know what is. So I think if you're looking for a full-size multi-tool, I mean, you don't have to look any further than this. I know SOG also has a multi-tool called the Power Assist, which actually has assisted opening blades that are accessible from it in the closed position, so they'll be along the outsides here. You know, I guess that's cool if you want something that has probably a better blade included, but like I said, I always carry a blade. Like today, for example, I'm carrying the Spyderco Manix 2 lightweight. Been carrying this thing a lot lately, and I absolutely adore it. But anyway, I always have a knife on me, so that always gets the bulk of my cutting jobs. So I don't necessarily feel the need to have a good quality knife or a good quality blade in my multi-tool itself. So I hope I was able to shed some light on this multi-tool for you. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and please leave those in the comments below. If you have another multi-tool that you like a little bit better, feel free to put your 2 cents in down there. Or if you've had really bad experience with SOG, put that in the comments as well. Definitely want to hear all sides of the argument. But I hope you're able to get some of this video, and I really appreciate you watching.